Receiving schools, here is a reference for today's lesson. Your strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and your reference.
Okay, good morning, 8Cs, receiving school students and teachers. Right, you may take your seats. All right, 8Cs and receiving students. Today we have the privilege of having a guest speaker, Mr. Martin Tony, and today he will be talking to us about cultural expressions. Now, what is cultural expression? The importance of cultural expression. So once again today, we have the privilege of having our guest speaker. I'd like you to welcome 80s and receiving students. Welcome Mr. Martin Tony.
Good morning, 8Cs. Okay, thank you very much once again for having me here. My name is Martin. You will see me every morning. I walk up and down here. I work just next to the Australian High Commission. But formerly, I used to teach at the university here and then up at University of Goroka. The rest, I'll leave it for your teachers, all right? Okay, basically this morning, we'll be talking about cultural expression. Now, cultural expression is something that people always talk about, all right? Cultural expression, most of the time, because it is two-word, most of the time people would like to find a way of saying, they would like to define culture, tradition, expression, and all of them together. Including that you also have in your classes or your school from time to time, you have expressive arts. And then you have cultural expression. There are a lot of words, but I'm not going to go into that. What I'd like to begin with, have you ever heard of that word cultural expression before? Yes? Who has ever heard of that word before, cultural expression, that phrase? You've heard of the word culture? Yes. You've heard of the word expression? Yes. What is culture? What is culture? You've heard of the word before? Sorry, I can't hear you. Speak up loud.
Culture is how people act or live in a particular area or place.
Excellent, all right? Culture is our lifestyle, all right? Is our lifestyle how we live. What is expression? Expression. Okay, expression simply it means to show, all right? To show. Now, if we say culture is our lifestyle and expression is to show, if we put these two words together, what would that mean? Show our lifestyle, okay? Excellent. Now, people have been using this word. They have come up with many different kinds of definitions. When you go to the dictionaries, you will see all kinds of definitions. When you see, there are different ways of people expressing, but for our purpose today, for our discussion today, I would like us to see cultural expression, okay? Today, firstly, as cultural expression is a mode of presentation, all right? Because we say expression is to show and culture is our lifestyle, that means cultural expression is a mode, all right? Is a way of showing, is a way of presentation, all right? Now, when we say cultural expression is a mode of presentation, is actually when we actually do something, when we show our lifestyle, all right? When we say every night, every evening, we cook sago or we eat rice, it is our way of showing the type of food we eat, and it is how we present ourselves, all right? It is a presentation. Also, you can look at it, cultural expression, as a particular form. Now, when we say particular form, cultural expression is not just something that happens. It's been created. And because it is created, we see it in whatever object we can. Sometimes we cannot see the form, meaning if it is an idea that we have to neutralize or we have to make it happen, it's totally different from that form. So form meaning that it has a style and we can feel it, we can see it. Now in form, there usually is two, all right, two types. But we are not going to go into that. So cultural expression, what you will know from now is, for this class alone, how we're going to, is a mode of presentation and it has a particular form, meaning we can see it, right? It shows us, it tells us, it presents to us one or two things that we need to know about a particular person or society or place or people, all right? And then thirdly, I'd like us to see cultural expression as something that revolves mostly around artworks. You've heard of culture, you've heard of cultural expression, you've said so far. And when we say mostly it revolves around artworks, what is artwork? What do you know about the word art? Big question, huh? Do you have expressive arts classes? Yes. Okay. What do they say expressive arts is? Express yourself. You show, and art simply means technique, all right? It is a skill. Someone will not know how to build a house unless, of course, that person has gone through training, has learned the skill of holding a hammer, all right? Or has learned the skill of using a saw. Someone don't just know how to sew clothes we wear. It is a skill someone will have to learn first. So when you learn a skill, a particular skill, to actually show it, then it becomes work of art because it takes time. For example, if we are to dance, all right? If we are just standing doing one or two movements and anybody could get up and do it, when there is something ordinary where you don't have to need a skill or particular training or practice, then it is not an artwork, it is just an ordinary work. So in cultural expressions, why we say cultural expression revolves mostly around artwork is because if you look at the things we use daily, all right, things like weaving of mat, all right, things like carving, all those things are work of art because it takes special skills. Now, cultural expression in our society, things like weaving a mat, knowing how to build a house, knowing how to do carving, all right, or dancing, doing all those things. These are things that reflects us, our traditional society, all right? So cultural expressions, our life is mostly centered around artwork, like we said earlier. Now, things like carving, you see a lot of specific carvings. Things like weaving of mats, or dancing, music, drama, pottery, are some examples of cultural expressions, okay? We would not know how our ancestors had lived before, okay? Unless, of course, if you go back to see that, okay, they have a particular way of carving a specific wood. They say we would like this to represent our gods, our traditional gods. It is our spiritual ancestors. Or they say we weave this mat. This mat, we use it for a special occasion. When people come, we use this mat. Or they say, most of the times you will see, I remember when I was a small boy, when I was back in my village in Chimbu, what usually happens is that my grandfathers will sit around in the man's house and they tell us the story. Okay, they tell us traditional story and then they keep saying, what's happening now? When I went into the bush, I started seeing that pig came charging at me. All I do, I had to avoid it. You know, this idea of moving their body, telling a story, those are all artwork and it expresses, okay? These are cultural expression. Now, one of the things I've noted up here, you will see, is that traditionally, oral traditions, during our time, our people we have never written anything. But the only way to tell from time to time what is happening in our society is by storytelling. And now that oral tradition is a very important form of expression, our cultural expression. Since then, now when people started writing, they started documenting it. But that is not to say that because we are now writing, oral tradition is not part of us. Not most of us back in the village could read or write. So that still forms very important part of our lifestyle, okay? And then you have creative works, which is also important. It identifies us, it gives pleasure and personal development. Usually, most of the time, when someone would like to, in a traditional society, like one of my own uncle who went through an initiation, they had to take him to the bush, they had to tell him, look, because he was a young boy, but because he was taken away from his people, he was asked to do one or two things. He was asked, or he was shown how to make spear, he was shown how to make a fence, he was shown how to build a house, he was shown how to do with mats and all those. Then that changes that particular person. And then it gives them, it continuously sustains the identity from one traditional era into another. Okay? So things like carving, weaving, dancing, those are cultural expressions. We have them. Most of the things we use from day to day, we use it for our daily expressions, all right? When someone comes, we give them mat. When someone comes, we cook food probably in the clay pot, or the type of food we eat. What would be some of our traditional food? Traditional foods. Sago, cow. What do we eat nowadays in our house? Rice. Which one of them is a cultural expression? You're right, it's both of them, all right? Before there and then, people used to eat this and that. It shows the lifestyle. It expresses. It shows what the lifestyle of people there and then was. But today, if we are all eating rice, it shows how we are living today, all right? So when we talk about culture and cultural expression, it is not something that will stop. It doesn't stop at all. It is something we always say it is dynamic. It has energy. It comes along with a change. It continuously moves on from one to the other. Things that happened yesterday, we can't say it's traditional because it changes today. What happens today changes tomorrow. But each time when those things changes, when we make use of whatever that is there, when we use things like this to document, to say, look, this reflects us, this reflects them. When we see a carving, we automatically say it is from Sepik. When we see people beating Garamot, when they do, we know that this is from Manus. When we see tapioca dance, this is from Milenbeek. Those are things that identifies everybody and their society. Now, those kind of cultural expressions, okay, whether it had happened before or whether it is happening today or whether it will happen in the future, those things are very, very important. And cultural expressions is always very important to us because, first of all, it reflects our lifestyle, all right? It tells us about how we live, what we do, all those things are reflected, all right? Lifestyle is a is a very broad thing, all right? It talks about how you work, where you live, what you eat, what you wear, okay? And secondly, cultural expression, it gives us identity, all right? If we automatically see that if someone's got big beard, if you see someone with very big beard and he's tough looking, where do you say he's from? Islands. If you see someone with blonde hair, where do you say he's from? If you see a girl with her hair down, where do you say she's from? So things like this, okay, cultural expression, it refers to our lifestyle. It refers to our groom, how we groom ourselves, we walk around, okay? It does not necessarily mean to say of all the old things we have. It tells, and this lifestyle that we live, it gives us identity, and it is our cultural expression. It's our way of showing our lifestyle. And one of the most important things also you will see is that it preserves our heritage, all right? Heritage, is this a much bigger word? What is heritage? Is what? I just put that word up. I didn't even know the meaning of heritage. So can someone tell me what is heritage? Okay, heritage in simple form, it is something that we just pass on, all right, from one to the other, all right? It is inherited, something that is going from one to the other. So when we talk about cultural expression, like for example, our ancestor, probably our Tumbuna used to do carving. But if one of you could learn from your own ancestor and if you could do carving now, you are preserving that most important heritage, all right? And it gives you identity, and it shows that even though you are now living in this present time, contemporary time, it also, okay, gives you that knowledge of the past. All right? And finally, like we said earlier, it promotes our culture. All right? Our culture, again, is our lifestyle, is our heritage, all those things, when you put together our identity, those are all our lifestyle. I put this together for you to see. One of the important things, okay, you would notice is body decoration. Body decoration, the way people paint themselves, all right, on their body, or you see tattoos and every other thing. Those are also cultural expressions, all right? And like I said, most of them are artwork. So in order to do things like tattooing, it is a skill of its own. When someone does the tattooing, it is not something that they just learn overnight. It takes time for practice. It takes time to learn that skill, right? And then as you can see also, we have traditional dances. Now those traditional dances are also, it's not something that happened overnight. These traditional dances, in one traditional dances in PNG society, if you could see, or Pacific Islands for that matter, when people do, what I have there is traditional sing-sing or traditional dances from Enga. What they have, it is not only the dancing you should look at to say, okay, this dancing is good, this dancing is bad. No, things like this don't happen. When you would like to critically understand someone else's cultural expression. When you look at things like this, when they wear, for example, in Agen, you will see them put pit-pits, they hang it on their neck. Those things represent wealth, all right? If they put a particular body design, probably it represents one style, significant totem, or something that is important to their society. If they're wearing this malo, the material in itself, okay, if they're using a possum, it has higher status. If they're using cassowary feathers, all those things, all right, it is incorporated into their traditional dance. So mostly, again, like I said, in Chimbu, if people would like to do bride price, you see ladies are well groomed. They have this possum, they have these kina shells and everything. It is not one way of dressing someone. It is one way of saying or giving status or importance, and it gives that expression. It shows, okay, what these people are, where this lady is coming from. All those status is embedded in those things. And also you can see creative works. Creative works is something we create from time to time, all right? The traditional and everything, it might be grass cat, but when we're doing those dances, we don't think it's traditional. No, every time we create it, all right? It becomes an art form. So in things like this, you will see one movement from here, one movement from there. All those things, all right, is being observant. So all this body decoration, traditional dances, creative works, carvings, weavings, all those pottery, all those works, it reflects our society. Now, having said that, to conclude, if I ask you, who is popularly known for doing clay pots? Clay pots? Who's known for eating yam? Who is known for eating yam? Millen Bay. Okay, they have yam festival, I know. All right? If we ask you, where is Lakatoi coming from? You know Lakatoi Irimole? When you hear the word Irimole and Lakatoi, what do you automatically think? What do you think is Lakatoi? Is that what? No, what is a Lakatoi? What does okay, what is a Lakatoi again? It's a boat, it's a ship. What does it do? What does it ship? Okay, those are kind of things. When we talk about cultural expressions, it is not that we just look at one thing and take it for what it is, all right? You must always take it as a responsibility. Make it your own responsibility to always note, this is a Lakatoi, we know. But what does Lakatoi do? What does the word Lakatoi mean? What does it do? Or it helps people trade from the coast, okay? What do they trade? What is the importance of those things? Things like this then forms that cultural expression. It tells you of lifestyle. It promotes that identity. It tells of their lifestyle. It promotes that identity. And it tells us of all this heritage we have that is passed on from one generation into the other, right? Like we always, Papua New Guineans, we're always proud to say our country, how many languages do we have? Over 800. How many dances we have? It is also over. I don't know the number, but it is also over. Now, things like this is our lifestyle. It is our heritage. It identifies us. So when we talk about cultural expression, it is not something you should come to think of as something that is very traditional. No. Culture, it changes, okay? It's dynamic. It changes from time to time. And when we talk about cultural expressions, are things that we make to reflect the past, present, or future, all right? Today we are wearing this shirt and we are wearing these trousers. Who knows? We have traditional cultural expressions where they wear graskets, where they wear necklaces and so forth. We have contemporary cultural expression. That shirt, trousers, everything we're wearing. At the same time, this though is contemporary, we can also say it is also modern cultural expression, all right? Things like piercing of, wearing of earrings, modern necklaces, okay, made of gold and all the stuff. We never used to wear it before. We're not wearing it, but we will be affording to, all right? We will be wearing it in the future. So all these things reflect. So when we talk about cultural expression, this is as far as we can go, all right? And it is as simple as we can take it from here to build on. Thank you very much. If there is any questions, I will answer. Any questions at all? Any questions at all? Don't worry, just ask me any questions at all. Okay. If there are no questions, thank you for having me. And we'll see you around sometimes, all right? You might come back. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right. On behalf of the 8Cs and the receiving students, Mr. Martin Tony, we'd like to thank you so much for availing your time for us and giving us information on cultural expression, like what is cultural expression and the importance of cultural expression. And I'm sure the 8Cs and also the receiving students out there, they have learned so much from you. All right, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Hero meaning blown emotion. Chief Mary name blown him Koloka. And go married lon Narapla. Place time I'm married. Okay, picking in blown him. Come back now. Married lon place blown him. Okay. And this plan since also we call him sina eda da barada emumue bamumue iluluna bamue mai emphasis picking blonem Chief Mary and go marry lon nara pa place na. Time beginning lonim, tanim na ikam lon place lonim na married Chief Mary. Emphasis.
Teachers, here is your reference for the next lesson. Your strand, substrand, outcome, the topic, materials, and your reference.